performance I've seen him have ever in a video. Yeah, exactly. So if you don't know me, my name is Brad, and I get this question a lot, more so than you ever would know. People come up to me and they'll say, Brad, what is it you do here? And then some people will say, what is it you do here? I don't know to be insulted or to be flattered, but I love that question because I like to answer it. So I'm going to answer it now once and for all, so nobody will ever be allowed to ask me this question again, because you will have the answer. What do I do here? Absolutely nothing. I don't. No, that's not true. I come up with crazy stuff like that, and I wear a hot dog suit. But, you know, today I'm talking to you as a groups pastor because we love groups here at the Pointe Church. We love that we can offer opportunities for you to be a part and engage in community, because at your point and our point in life, we want community, right? We all love community. We love being able to be surrounded by other people with like-minded ideas. And that's why we have Groups of Palooza tomorrow night. You've heard me talk about that. It's another idea. I loved pitching, a year ago. I'm like, we should do something called Groups of Palooza. And they looked at me like I had a third eyeball, right? They're like, whoa, what is this Groups of Palooza? I don't know what you're talking about. I said, it's going to be a crazy event, but we're going to do this because we want to reach you. And tomorrow night, we're taking you in a time machine, and you're going back to the 80s. Y'all like the 80s. Y'all clapped for it last week. I know you like the 80s. This event, you can come dressed in these cool shirts. We'll have more about that at the end of the service. But we want you to come to Groups of Palooza because, most importantly, you're going to get to meet group leaders. And you're going to get to hear about groups. And if you've been in groups, or you're thinking about groups, or you're curious about groups, this is the opportunity for you. But impact, if you've never been to our church, we call it impact. It was outreach. That's another part of my job. I love doing that. If something goes outside these four walls, I'm probably going to know about it. And I'm going to go visit guys like Scott Mendenhall, who came here a few months ago, and see how they're doing, because we love impacting other churches, other organizations in this community. Connections. Hey, that's something I do too. So a lot of you know me as a door greeter. And Walmart has a position waiting on me when I retire, because I like to stand at the door and I love to say hello. I know a lot of you guys, and when you're not here, I know that because I keep a tab and a roll in my head. No, I don't. I would never have enough time for that. But I do love seeing you guys show up on a Sunday morning. Something else, membership. Hey, something else that falls under my job. You scan that QR code, you can become a member of our church. We love the fact that you want to join our church and be a part of the vision that God's laid upon us here at the Pointe Church. Baptism. We love baptism, right? Yeah. So a lot goes into baptism. I'm going to know if you're getting baptized. I'm going to pray with you. I'm going to roll the baptismal in right here. I'm going to fill it up. I'm going to turn the heater on. I'm going to come on a Saturday, turn the heater on. So when you come to get baptized, it is warm and not cold. Now, if you were getting baptized at Christmas, it would have been cold because our heater burned up. I came in on Christmas Friday, and I was like, oh, my Lord, it's cold. I wouldn't even want to get baptized in this. And that was when we had the big windstorm. So, but that's been fixed. We do have a heater now. So if you do want to get baptized, we can do it with warmth. But with all that being said, it sounds like I do a lot, right? But the one thing that I love, and the one thing that I really do, is I love to disciple others about Jesus. That's my favorite job. And that's all our jobs, right? We all have that job. But for me, I love being able to disciple others and to help them take their next step in their walk with Jesus. And that's what God's called us to do as Christ followers. He's called us to disciple others, to lead others. You know, in the Bible, the word Christian's only mentioned 3 times. But the word disciple is mentioned 230 times just in the 4 Gospels. And then another 30 in Acts. What do you think he's trying to tell us? What do you think he's trying to get across to us? We need to disciple others. Yeah. So that's my favorite part of my job. But today, I get to talk to you guys about a really cool story. And this story takes place in Matthew. It's actually an important story because it takes place in 3 of the 4 Gospels. Yeah, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. John didn't write about it. I guess he took the week off. But they want you to understand the importance of this message. And I'm going to paraphrase this, little Brad paraphrasing. So it basically starts out, there's this big crowd on the banks, right? Jesus sees this big crowd, hops in a boat. He goes out, and then disciples come out to find him. And they come out there to him, and they're like, hey, Jesus, why do you always talk in parables? Some of you have wondered that question. And these are guys that's walked with him for, they know him. They have walked and got to hear him speak. And they asked him this question. And Jesus is like, I'm so glad you've asked this question. You ever get those questions you just can't wait to answer? Yeah, I love those. I love when it's teed up. My wife asks me something, I'm like, yeah, I'm about to answer this one. And then I'm wrong, and she says, you're wrong. But no, so I get this, and Jesus is like, okay, I'm going to give you a master class on what I'm trying to teach you. Because what I'm trying to teach you is those people that you see are you and I, or you. Those people are you. They're us, right? Those are the people we see at Panther games. Those are the people we see at Walmart when I'm going to be greeting. Those are people that we see at school. We see those people. And those people have 4 different types of seeds. And you need to know about it. I think about, as a groups pastor, I've been here, I haven't been on staff this long, but I've been here at this church since 2008. I've led groups probably since 2000, probably the last 12 years, 13 years. And I can remember people that have been here and played an active role in groups. And then, I can remember I can see how they've gone. Yeah, I know. I'm like, I miss you. I miss seeing those people that were active in church. And I got to meet a couple who told me, hey, group life, Brad, it saved my marriage. It saved our marriage, group life. Yeah, that's how important group meant to that family. But other families, they come and go. And Jesus tells the disciples in a lot of words, in another paraphrase, people are going to come, people are going to flame out. There's going to be people that are going to be for it. There's going to be people that are against it, and they're just going to go away because there's 4 different types of seeds. So if I had a wall in my brain of people, I can sit up here and talk about people that I've seen come that were on fire and then they've flamed out and haven't seen them since. But you're lucky. I'm not bringing those guys up here. We're not going to bring the flameouts. No flameouts. We actually have Rob and Jessica Beer. I want you guys to give them a big hand. They're going to come up here for a second. It's exciting to have you guys because this is the couple I was just talking about. And who better to share their story than them? And as I do in groups a lot of times, Rob, tell us your name.
My name is Rob Beer. Can't forget that last name. I grew up in Pennsylvania. I had a little bit of a rough childhood. I came down here. I went to the military. When I got out of the military, I was in college. I was in Army ROTC. A lot of my friends went right. I took a left, and I went to federal prison for 15 years. That's my story.
Hi, I'm Jessica Martineau. I'm not a Beer yet. I haven't changed my last name, but my husband gets on me about that. I grew up in Manchester, New Hampshire. I have 2 beautiful boys, Matthew, who's 18, Dorset, who's 8. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2017 at the age of 34, and it's metastatic now, so I've been fighting the battle for 5 years. But I'm blessed beyond all that because it made me stronger in the Lord and helped me to be more reliant on Him.
Tell us how you guys found the Pointe Church and what you got here. What was offered to you guys initially when you came to the Pointe Church?
I'm the operations manager for a wine distributor, and I was talking to one of our customers, and she'd always ask me about Jessica, and she invited us to come check out this church, and I was like, well, I don't want to drive all the way to Charlotte for church, and we were going to another church at the time, and she said, well, we're in Belmont, so you should come check it out. So I went home, and I told Jessica, I'm like, I think we should go check out this church, and we did. And as soon as we got here, he was the first person that I saw, and I was like, man, that is a bubbly guy right there. And but I liked it when I came back that he remembered our names, and that was important because I didn't feel that connection with the other church. And she was more involved with the church than I was, and I was making an effort, for her. And we jumped into group right away. We signed up for couples group with Greg and Holly, and then we do hand-to-hand. I see you guys.
And the least of these as well. So we've been very involved in staying connected with the church. And it's very vital, I guess, to not only a marriage, because marriage is like a covenant, but it's also vital to, your walk with the Lord, people holding you accountable, just enjoying good family fun that is, based around God. So I encourage you guys to get involved in the church with group. Marriage group is fabulous. We have both Greg and Holly that are amazing because, our marriage was really not good at the moment. We were very rocky. We were about to get a divorce, and we've only been married almost 2 years. So if it wasn't for this whole family, the body of Christ, Pastor Ray allowing us to have involved in counseling. So I'm very grateful for that, and our friends that we stay connected to, we wouldn't be where we're at now, and the encouragement received and prayers. So we're very thankful for that.
Yeah, a year ago we were in a really bad spot, and I thought our marriage was done. And the friendships that we found in group, they really pulled us through. And when you look around, you look at people, and you see what they present, and you don't think anybody's going through the stuff that you're going through. And we found that a lot of our friends had been through what we were going through. And we went on a trip to New Orleans, and we flew home separately. And I was out of the house and planning on moving out, and I talked to Josh, and Josh was a big influence in my decision to go back home. And the countless conversations that we've had with Greg and Holly and our friends Jimmy and Nikki and Matt and Hillary, it really got us through. And the one thing I loved about group is I'm very open with my past. I have no shame in it. I'm not proud of who I was, but I'm very proud of who I am. And, for me, group was so powerful that when we were sitting at Bridge Camp with Lisa These, and I was just looking around and thinking how awesome my life was and the beautiful people I had, and I texted Brad and said that, it's time that I accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior and get baptized. And I knew that I needed Greg to be the one to do that. And it's been awesome. And the thing about group that I love is there's no conditions. Like some people might feel some way about my past, but they didn't. And I love them for that. And for a guy that used to think that he was incapable of being loved, it's a pretty awesome feeling.
Yep.
Yeah. So real quick, in 30 seconds, if someone's sitting out there and their marriage was like yours, or they just are needing community, needing friends, needing a friend group that they share, what would you say to encourage them?
Well, I would say sign up immediately, and it's so hard to articulate what group is, and it's not even group anymore. It's just an hour a week that we get to set aside and hang out with our friends. And it's we have a group text, the three of us, and then the wives, and each week hey, are you okay? How's it going? What's going on? So if you have any issues, or even if you're just looking to connect with the church or connect with people, like group life is the way to do it. It's awesome. It's saved our marriage, and the church invested in our marriage, and I would just say sign up, take the jump.
Yeah, you'll definitely get a lot from it. Like I said, it's not just it's not just connected in these four walls, but outside as well, and you can have good Christian fun, and it's just amazing what you can take from it.
Well, thank you guys. Everybody give them a hand.
Go Steelers.
Thank you.
I did not bring them up there to brag on me, but I did appreciate it. Thank you guys. Coincidentally, if you are struggling and you need counseling, you can scan that QR code in front of you, go under care. We will come along and support you also. We want to help marriages. We want to help marriages succeed. We want to help marriages put Christ at the center of it. And so you can scan that QR code. And On that note, we also have Real Talk coming up. You can scan the QR code to sign up for that, where you're going to hand you something on the way out. Real Talk is a marriage experience for anyone that's married or potentially wanting to get married. It's $20 a couple. It's free food, free childcare. It's a great experience. If your marriage is really great, this event's for you. And if your marriage needs a little fine-tuning, this event is for you. We encourage you to sign up for that. Our church, again, we're wanting to offer things to everyone to help, because we want to come alongside you in your journey with Christ. So we're looking forward to Real Talk. My wife and I can't wait. We got to do some talking about it. And we are excited about going to Real Talk and being a part of that. Now, back to our story. So Jesus sitting there with the disciples, and he's about to dish out the 4 types of seeds, right? They're listening to him. I can just imagine in my head, they're like intently not blinking as he's about to drop some knowledge on them. And he says, the first type of seed is listen. The seed that is snatched away, not the sneed, the seed. And Mark 4:15 says, some people are like seed along the path where the word is sown. As soon as they hear it, Satan comes and takes away the word that was sown in them. As soon as they hear it, Satan comes along and takes the word that was sown in them. Now, we have a debate in my house, and I love that I read books via Audible. Do we have any Audible audiobook readers here? Yeah, we got a lot, right? You know, when you finish a book, you like to brag about it, right? I love to go, yep, I read a book today. And my wife's like, you didn't really read that book. You didn't read it. I'm like, yes, I read the book. We have gotten into many arguments about how she claims that's not book reading. And I claim it is. And so I love to brag when I read this book today. You're still reading yours, right? And she's still reading hers, but I've listened. But here's what I'm getting at. Don't tell my wife, but she's right in a lot of ways. Because after I read that book, months later, she can quiz me. Hey, you remember? And I'll be like, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. She's like, exactly, because you didn't read it. You listened to it. And she's right, because listening to a book, we're not comprehending it the way we would reading it. And that's a lot what happens to us when we come in here. Some of you guys have come in here this morning, and you're going to listen to me talk, and then you're going to walk out that door, and you're going to be like, what are we eating for lunch? And she's going to go, or he's going to go, I don't know. Or you're going to think to yourself, what's for lunch? And then they're going to say, what did you hear about at church? I don't remember, right? It's going to come in one ear and out the other, kind of like when I tell my son to do something. It goes in one ear and out the other. But we're not receiving it. And Christ is telling the disciples, there's going to be people like that. There's going to be people that hear the word, but they don't really hear the word. They're just hearing words. They're just hearing words. They're putting it in their brain. They're checking it off the list. Hey, I listened to that today. Look at me. I read that book. But they're not really hearing it. And I got to be honest with you guys. I love coming up here because it's therapeutic, because I can just lay all my stuff out for you and tell you how crappy I am at stuff. But I am not a very good listener. Some of you know me. I struggle with listening to people. They'll talk to me, and my brain is like going in 10 different directions, and they're talking to me. I have made a concerted effort to learn to listen better, and I'm really trying. And listening is not always easy for you and I, right? Some of you out there relating with me, you're like, my wife talks to me, I don't even listen sometimes. My wife will send me to the store, say, I need you to get this. I'll get to the store, and I'll call her and say, what do I need to get? That's just how it rolls. Second thing Christ is telling the disciples, receive the seed with no root. Yeah, the seed with no root. He goes on to say, the seed falling on rocky ground refers to someone who hears the word and at once receives it with joy. But since they have no root, they last only a short time. I'm going to take y'all back to the 80s tomorrow night, but I'm going to take you back to the 90s now. I know I look good for 25, but there was a time when I was young. And I remember sitting in my youth service, and it was back then we called it rap. And it's not because I wanted to be a rapper one day, but and I didn't want to wrap Christmas gifts. It was called RAP because in the 90s, acronyms were the thing, right? Y'all know. So RAP stood for Reaching All Peers. Yep, I loved it. So I come in there one night. I was sitting there. It was a Tuesday night. Youth pastor was just spewing words. I was listening. It was like God was talking straight to me. It was like just me and him in that room. Some of you are sitting out there right now feeling that same way. Some of you are going, wow, I feel like God's really talking to me. My soil is not that great. I need to till that ground. I need to get better. And I was thinking the same thing. August 30th, 1994. I was 15 years old. Yeah, I'm not that young, but I'm not that old. And I was sitting there, and I got up. I said, I'm going to accept Jesus. And I walked down the aisle. And he was like praying with me. And I said, this is awesome. And he said, yeah. I said, I want to get baptized. He said, we'll make that happen. I came to church the next Sunday, walked down the aisle again. Back then, you had to stand up here in the front, and then y'all would just line up and shake my hand. You know, nobody cared about germs back then, so I would just shake everybody's hand. I was proud. Then I came in the next Sunday, and I got baptized. Greatest feeling ever. So then I said, you know what? Now I'm a Christian. I got to put on those Jesus shirts. Yeah, y'all know. Y'all wore them. You know what the Jesus shirts are. I had one that had this crown of thorns. Man, it was balls. I put this thing on. I wore it to school. I said, you know what? I am wearing these Jesus shirts from now on. So I came to school. I had them on. I had my CDs. Y'all know what CDs are, right? Yeah. Some of you are like, I don't know. They're compact discs. You're like, I don't know what a compact disc is. Small little circle thing, a little hole in the middle. You put it in the player, gets scratched, you can't hear a song. It's the worst. I'm so glad we're done with those and I can just turn on Spotify. But anyway, I gave them all away. I said, you know, I'm not going to listen to this stuff anymore. I'm only going to listen to Carmen. No. So I was rocking out to Carmen with my crown of thorns. But you know what? I didn't receive it. I heard it, but I wasn't ready to make the change. So eventually, my Jesus shirt came off. I wasn't topless. I put my Bugle Boy back on. I said, I'm going to wear my Bugle Boy now. Yeah. And I got my CDs back. I'm like, hey, man, give me that CD back, bro. I got to listen to that. So then my CD book got big, and I wasn't receiving it. Because you see what happens, and he's trying to tell the disciples this, that there's going to be people that receive it, but when the times get tight and the push comes to shove, it's going to be easy to revert back to what's comfortable. Because we love being comfortable, right? Comfortability, everything is about being comfortable. And we like that. Then he says, okay, one more. We got two more we're going to do. The next one is focus. The seed among the thorns. And this one, some of you guys have been like, well, I was the first two. Can I be the third one? And yes, the seed that fell among thorns stands for those who hear, but as they go on their way, they are choked by life's worries, riches, and pleasures, and they do not mature. Man, that one hits hard. Because what are you focusing on? What are you idolizing now? What is taking your attention away from Jesus? Because all of us have something. Some of you, this is 2023. You're resolute in this, right? We got some resoluters in here. Anybody set a resolution? Yeah, I need to lose a couple pounds. That's a good resolution. Some people want to save more money this year. I think 2023 is going to be a great year. I really do. I like 2022. It was fun. Heck, it was a lot better in 2020 and 2021. But some of you out there are stressed about 2023. Some of you guys and girls are sitting there going, I don't want this year. It's going to be terrible. What are we focusing on? Because I will say, you need to surround yourself like these two did. They surrounded themselves with people that are going to build them up. They surrounded themselves with a friend group that didn't want to pull them down, that encouraged them to wear that crown of thorn t-shirt. They surrounded themselves with those people. Because your fruitfulness will begin with a daily habit of getting on your knees, praying to God, and reading the Word. If you come up to me right now and you said, Brad, what can I do? The first thing I tell you to do is pray and read. Get up in the morning, pray and read. It's not always easy, When you got kids and you got a dog, it's never easy. You know, you don't have to get up that early unless you got kids and a dog. Then you're getting up early. But other than that, you can get on your knees and you can pray. Because distraction will suffocate your fruitfulness. It will suffocate it. And Satan will let that happen. Satan will let you become distracted. And then you'll be like, wow, man, I haven't done anything in a while. If you play sports, we talk about reps, right? You got reps. You got to get the reps in. Same as being a Christ follower. You got to get those reps in. And those reps consist of getting on your knees and praying and reading and getting in the Word and getting in community and getting in groups. Because when you get in a group, you're going to learn how to do things on your own. You're going to learn how to receive the Word of God, not just sitting in here for 30 minutes and listening to a message. You're going to be in a group life surrounded by people who are seeking the same thing. Groups are not easy. Groups are hard. Groups are hard. And I can speak firsthand. I used to be very selfish. I was a selfish person. Even as a group leader, you know, a decade ago, I was a very selfish dude, man. I remember we had a group. And we had a couple that was moving, and they needed help moving. And I was like, I'm not helping them. Yeah, I work all week, man. I'm not helping them move. I still feel bad about that. And my wife was like, you should help. And I'm like, no, I'm not helping. But I was not doing the reps I needed to do, even as a group leader. I'm still growing now. We're all still growing, right? Amen. We're all still growing. We can't have fertile soil if we're not watering it daily, right? Flowers do not grow if you do not water them. I'm the first to tell you, I see a lot of flowers die in my house because I don't water them. But then Jesus says, now, if you are this person, you can pat yourself on the back. I probably wouldn't do it here because I'll think you're just bragging. But this one is, he says, respond. The seed on good soil. He says to him, but the seed falling on good soil refers to someone who hears the word and understands it. This is the one who produces a crop yielding 160 or 30 times what was sown. Yeah, you know who you are. You're that person. That's incredible. Yeah, some of you in here are this person. But you know what? You didn't become that person by just waking up, right? You didn't become that person. You didn't just wake up and go, you know what? I responded. We're challenging you to respond today. We want you to respond, but you didn't just become that person. No farmer walks outside, sees his farm, and he has a crop that is amazing without getting up at 3 a.m. and going out there and doing what he needs to do until sundown, right? No farmer has that. I was sitting at a dinner table with my boys last week, a week before, and we were talking. They were talking about sports, and I looked at them, and I said, you know, guys, you're not ever going to get anywhere if you don't work hard. You have to put the time in. You have to put the sweat in. You have to put the energy. You have to go more than the next person because somebody's always going to be there. None of you guys got where you are today without working hard. And I was telling them, hey, you've got to bust your behind, as somebody said this week, not the other word, and you got to bust it because if you don't, someone's going to beat you. Just like those farmers tilling that ground. Our faith is a compilation of diligent habits. Those farmers have great habits. We have to establish great habits in our walk. We have to establish praying, reading, and getting in community and getting in group life because that's what's going to keep our soil fertile. We need to always remember, we choose who we hang out with. We choose what goes in our brain and what we listen to, and we choose our actions. That's the great part about free will, right? God gave us free will. But we need to change, and we need to respond and start choosing to put good things in our brain and surrounding ourselves with people with like-minded thoughts that are looking towards the cross. You know, as I bring this to a close, Pastor Doug used to work here. He used to tell me sometimes, I think they're just a few clicks off. They just need to fix a little bit, and they'll be back, and they'll be back where they need to be. And then Pastor Justin spoke about a month ago, and you know, Justin likes to bring the trinkets. Every time he speaks, he always has a gift for you on your way out. And he had a trinket called a compass, or a compass, however you pronounce it. And he talked about looking true north, right? You remember that? Talked about looking true north. That's how we have to look. But to look true north, you have to be equipped. You have to know what you have to do. You have to know, you have to be in prayer. You have to be on your knees. You have to be reading, and you have to be in group life. You have to be surrounded by the right people, or they're just going to pull you down. And you're going to be like me at one point, being selfish, going, I don't want to help those people. I'm good. I'm tired. Because that's how Satan comes in and attacks. So we need to remember our thoughts will align with what we do. And we have to remember in our life, we have to listen, receive, focus, and respond. So what? So what's the point of this today? Well, it's time to respond and start living your life with good soil. It's time to respond today, guys. Now, what are we going to do?